that actually works here now, she really recommended this place for me to go, and at first I was very wary of her advice, and a couple months later I decided to check myself in. I had a couple events that led me here. Most of them were car crashes and, just me abusing drugs and some mental health issues that I knew were there, but I decided not to deal with them correctly. So after my second car crash, I told my mom, I went to her and decided that I wanted to check myself into a rehab. Alongside of the incident, just that I really trusted the therapist that I was seeing. I was seeing her for a couple of years, and I messaged her and said that I wanted to be here, and I was ready for treatment that I wasn't ready for before, and I came 2 days later. I've been in mental hospitals and mental health facilities, and I can say that the only experience I've had there really is them giving me medication, sending me out the door 2 weeks later. So not really any one-on-one therapy or like programming that was going to be useful to me outside of the program. I was scared out of my mind. I was absolutely terrified. I wasn't sure what to expect at all. And I just knew that it was going to be a long ride. I initially thought that it was going to be 30 days to 45 days when I checked out of work. And it ended up being 4 months, but it was well worth the 4 months. After I got used to the program, I got used to the steps of what we were doing every day. I just expected treatment. I expected treatment, exactly that. They were met after a couple of weeks. I didn't have expectations met, and after a couple of weeks I had some things done and a therapist change, and it was just all work from there, and it was heavy work and it was hard work, but it was easy with the treatment surrounding me, such as the EMDR therapist and my therapist and the NFT therapist as well. I think I actually connected more with the staff and the therapists than I did the patients, just because I don't like to open up. One of my problems is opening up, and it was a lot easier for me to open up to the staff and to the therapists, and they're all, I feel, in this profession for a reason, and like even straight down to the house managers that just watched over us at night. They're all here for a reason, and that was nice to know, and you kind of felt that comfort coming from them, because when something went wrong or when something went down, like a house manager was there to help you, or an on-call therapist was there to see what was going on. And the treatment team itself, like the clinicians and the operation team, they were listening, whether the patients thought it or not. They were all listening, and they paid attention to the needs that were. Group therapy is just like it sounds, where all of the girls get together in a group and we have a specific topic that a clinician runs, and we have everything from addiction and recovery to traumatic, advanced trauma to grief and loss to anything really related to trauma. And the individual sessions, that's when you got down to like, that's when you really got to open up. And personally, my therapist was amazing, just because, she related to me in certain ways. Like, she had a daughter, like, going through the same things that I went when I was her age, and, we related that way. And she She expected no bullshit, so I gave her no bullshit, and I put everything down on the table just like I came here to do. And once that's done, once I took everything out of my backpack and onto the table, like, that's when we got to work. And I have individual therapy to thank for that a lot. And of course, the group information was, coping skills, or like how to get through stressful times, or how to manage time, or how to like do certain things that would help you get through your individual sessions and get through the rest of your life, so that you wouldn't have to come back to a treatment center. I would have to say that grief and loss, and it was called like creative writing or something, were my favorite groups, and they were the deepest and the hardest for me. I lost my dad in 2016, February 2016. When I first came here, that was my first group I walked into, and I walked immediately out, and I didn't want to go back. I had a panic attack, and I was done. And it actually helped me the most. Looking back, it helped me the most, because through that, I understood that I had to face it, and grief and loss was normal, and I had to go through all of the stages just like anybody would, and that helped me understand more that what I was feeling was normal, and that ended up being one of my favorites. And the therapist that led it was very, very helpful, very just like relatable, because he had been in the same shoes with his mom, and it was an awesome experience, I would say. They would ask questions that would just make you really think about what you want for your life, or like how you are feeling inside, whether it be your inner child and how that person was suppressed your entire life, or how that voice was cut off, or whether it be just like what sets your soul on fire, or just questions like that that'll make you really think, like, what am I doing here, and how did I get myself into this, and does it lead back to when I was a child, or does it lead back to something that's I've been suppressing my entire life, or my last couple of years of life. Typical day in treatment is you wake up at 6 and you do your chores. You're supposed to eat breakfast. Not many of us do, but you're supposed to eat breakfast, and then you go to group starting at 9. Or you take your meds, go to group starting at 9, and that usually lasts till around 12:45, and then you go to lunch. You have to make your own lunch, and you go back to group from 12:45 to 2:15, and then after that is usually physical activity, whether it be playing basketball, whether it be, going to the little gym we have behind House B, or just walking around the set. And then that was the end of your day. Dinner was usually served around 5, 6 o'clock, and then it was just hanging out for the rest of the night. I would just have to say the staff, and I like Sovereign just because I feel like they touched me in a lot of ways. They healed me in ways that I didn't think I could ever be healed from some things. And I remember crying to my mom when I came in here, saying, like, I don't think this is gonna work. I don't think this is gonna help me. Like, I'm scared, Mom. Like, I don't think anybody, like, I don't think I can fix me. And I remember crying to my mom, and, crying on her way out, and while she left me. And I like Sovereign just because, they walked you through it. They walked you through every single day, whether it be through the programming, or whether it be through individual sessions, or whether it be through your breakdowns. Someone was always there for you. And that was really nice, because you wouldn't get that on the outside world, living day to day. And it was cool too, because they understood, and they knew what to do, and they had it down. They'd been through it before, and it was exciting and amazing to have that type of support system, to have that bounce something to bounce back from. And whether you were having a low or a high day, you know, there was always someone looking out for you and noticing and saying, hey, like, what's wrong, checking up on you, or you look good today, Audra, you know. I would say the support is what I like most about Sovereign. I have a lot to take away from Sovereign. A clear head, you know, a sober life. I have, you know, now a bunch of tools in my toolbox that I can use outside of here to cope with anxiety, to cope with depression. They really help me understand the things that I had been diagnosed with, such as PTSD and anxiety and major depressive disorder, and I can now deal with that without running to drugs or without running to isolate myself or without running at all. I can just face it, you know, straight on. Like I said, I have a lot to take away from Sovereign, and, you know, just the connections I've made with either the staff or the patients, you know. I'm very grateful for Sovereign. I tell the new patients all of the time because none of them seem to like it when they get here. And I tell them to stick through it because when I got here, I wanted to go. On my 17th day, I wanted to go. And I called my mom up. Since I'm a local, I called my mom up and I said, Mom, come get me. Like, this isn't for me. I don't want to be here. And then I stuck it out a couple of more days, and, you know, there comes a time in your treatment where you are either out the door or ready to really start your treatment, and that's the point I was at. And, you know, a lot of girls don't understand that, like, just the weaning into the treatment process is where all of those feelings come from, and why they don't like Sovereign, and why they want to talk shit about Sovereign, or, you know. And my biggest thing is stay. I just tell them to stay through it, because you're not going to like it at first. You're not going to like following a bunch of rules. You're not going to like, you know, being told what to do. You're not going to like being babysat or not having anywhere to go. But once you make that turn to start your treatment and to really put it all out, to really put yourself in a vulnerable place to get help, that's when you get down and dirty, and, you know, it's worth it. I can tell you I'm a completely different person from day 17 to now, and it took me 4 months to get here. And so my advice to anyone seeking treatment is to go, to stay, to seek it. And there's always going to be going through the mud. You'll have to face a lot of things that are going to be tough, because whether you're an addict or a mental health patient, there's always that underlying trauma that is there, and they're going to make you face it. Whether you want to face it or not, at some point in your life it's going to come up, and it's better if you face it now than then. So that would be my suggestion, is to just do it when you can. Don't wait 30 years, don't wait 20 years, don't wait 10 years. Do it while you can.